In this video, I'm going to walk you through the different content that's associated with this app development course. If you're looking at a slightly different course on your profile, the idea is the same, it just might be slightly different content. So in order to take a look at the content, we need to go to the Courses tab here from the navigation pane. All right, so now we want to select the course that we want to look at. Again, you might have multiple courses here. I'm going to work with this app development level 1 course, and underneath it shows me all of the modules. Now, a module is a collection of learning material and missions, exercises, practice that are associated on a specific concept. So module 1, for example, is building the app interface. So this is learning some basic HTML code. Module 2, styling our app. We want to change the font or the color of the backgrounds. We do that with the cascading style sheet or CSS code. Module 3, now we're going to introduce a little bit of JavaScript, and that brings some functionality, actually allows our apps that we're going to build to do something. So you can see each of these modules has a theme and concepts that they learn, culminating in this final project where we actually bring all those skills together and write a functioning app. As your learners work their way through the material, you can see their progress. So this little note task looking icon, if you hover your mouse over that, you'll see that it says submissions. So if you click on that, it will actually take you to this summary page. Sometimes this one's a little bit finicky. Just try that again. There we go. So it'll take you to the summary page that shows you how all of your learners are doing inside of this module. So because no learners have actually started this course yet, there's nothing showing here. But if there was, we would see the learner, the mission that they're on, what the due date is, if it was submitted, and how it was scored and what they got for experience points. If you're looking for a specific learner, you can search their name here in the search bar, or we can go back to the course menu. All right, so let's go inside of this first module. Inside the module, we can see all the different lessons and activity types, missions that are available so that the learner can interact and start using and practicing these new skills. Let's take a look at a lesson. There's 3 types of missions that we're going to look at. The first one here being the lesson. We'll look at an editor as well as a quiz. So inside of the lessons, we always start the section with an outline of what material is going to be covered. So for example, in this one, we're going to talk about what is a mobile app and how we use them in real life, and what they'll be able to do by the end. So for example, list different mobile apps that we use in real life and maybe identify some of the tools that we're going to use in the final project in this course. So we work our way through the material, how we're designing applications to make life easier, stuff like that. And eventually they'll come across these knowledge check questions. They need to read the question and submit an answer. So just use the bottom button on the right here, submit. And once they do that, they'll get some immediate feedback. So this answer was incorrect. And there's an explanation provided on why, so they can come back, resubmit it. Once they've done that, it unlocks the next page in the lesson. So they can't use this arrow up here to proceed forward until they've completed all the knowledge check questions on the page. There is additional explanation of correct answers as well, so it can be helpful for the learners to read these, as it might provide more context into what they're learning as well. So let's go to the next page. Sometimes there's videos embedded in here and additional questions. All right. So we end with a summary of the lesson and everything that was covered. And when the learner is ready, they can just click on the next mission button in the lower right-hand corner, and that will take them into the next tile, the next mission in the course. So this is lesson 2. We can double check that by going to this little menu in the upper left-hand corner, click on these horizontal bars, and you can see all of the missions that are inside of this module. So we finished the first one. Now we're in the second lesson, and we're going to start learning how to build the app interface, how to use some HTML code. So I'm going to skip ahead and actually go right into the editor that follows this lesson. So this is the editor mission. There's various editor missions built into this course. This is a chance for learners to start practicing writing their own code right away, and we provide immediate feedback on how their code is doing. So this editor mission is divided into 3 different areas. On the left is our compiler. So in this part, we type code, and it's going to be read by the compiler, and it's going to provide an output in the lower right-hand corner down here after we hit this run code button on the bottom here. Now, what are we actually trying to do? That's provided in the description section here in the upper right. So in this case, we need to write some HTML code to produce the following output. And it says we're going to probably need to use 2 P or paragraph tags. And this is what we want it to look like. We need something with a main header. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit more here, so it's a little bit easier to read behind me. So we need something with a main heading, likely using an H1 tag because it's pretty big. And then these are formatted with the default paragraph formatting. And that's why it's hinting that I should use the paragraph tags. So I would come over here and start typing my code. So if I've been following along the lesson, I know I'm going to need an HTML tag, and it automatically adds the closing tag for me. And then I know I'm going to need 2 P tags. So let's add some content. So I'm just copying it from the solution here. I can copy and paste this. So I have application 1 and application 2, and I need to type in main heading. Perfect. All right, so let's say I wanted to see where I'm at. Let's come down here and hit the run code button. All right, so this is what I get in the output. I get main heading, there it is right there, application content 1, application content 2. It's all in one line, it's all the same formatting. So it doesn't match my desired output. And we could check that. So let's do the check your work button down here on the right. Yeah, it says our code needs some revision. This desired output doesn't look like my output at all. So what we do is we provide a hint. We actually come in here, we show what the code's supposed to look like, and the highlighted areas are where the code doesn't match or where we're suggesting that they need to add some more code. So we can retry this mission, and we can come in and add some more tags. So it said that we needed an H1. That's a header. It's the default largest, biggest tag in HTML. So let's add that. And we need an opening and a closing tag with the text that we want to appear inside of it. I'm just going to move this down so that you can see that. So now we have the header 1, opening and closing. So let's run this again. Yeah, now we've got that H1 header, big bold font in our output. If we check it again, it's looking better, right? We can get that hint. The green highlighting has disappeared from the H1, and now we just need to work on those paragraph tags. Let's say that a learner gets stuck and you aren't sure what the correct solution is. That's okay, we've got you covered. All you need to do is click this load model answer button here, and we will actually populate all the required code right here into the editor so that you can see what the actual solution is supposed to be. So if I run this now, you can see the output now matches what we were trying to get to because we've added this second set of paragraph tags. If we check our work, now it looks identical, and we can go to the next mission. Following these editors, there's usually a quiz of some kind. I just randomly picked one. This wasn't the correct solution. Which of the following tags is considered the root of the HTML file? It's not the header tag. So it tells me that. It lets me go back and try again. And this time I found the correct solution, so I can go on to the next mission. All right, so there's another lesson here. I'm going to skip ahead and show you the quiz. So mission 7 in this module is a quiz, and this is just typical quiz structure. This is the title up here. I'm on question 1 of 4, and the question is, what does HTML stand for? So these answers are found in the lessons, but let's just pick one. High text main language, HTML, maybe that's right. Once I click one, these confidence intervals will pop up. This doesn't affect the experience points or the scores or anything like that. It's just a way that we can see how the learner is feeling as they go through the quiz the first time. So if they're feeling very confident, they know for sure what this answer is, maybe they'll pick very confident. If they're not sure at all and they're really just guessing, maybe we should suggest that they pick that one. So let's do that. So I'm not even reading these. I'm just going through and picking some so that we can take a look. Once you're all done, hit submit, and it will take us to a scorecard for how we did on the questions in this little quiz. So I have 1 green and 3 red, so I'm not doing so hot here today. But I got question number 2 right. So it shows green, I selected true, and it gives us a little bit of explanation about why that was the right answer. For the questions that I got wrong, it'll show me what I picked. It does actually show me the correct answer because we do want students to see the right answers right away, but also why. And then they're going to be encouraged to go back and actually retry again. So we're looking for hypertext markup language, true, what application should be used to view an HTML web page. Let's say web browser. What is the div element most commonly used for? All right, so let's see how we did this time. Awesome. So this time we got all 4 questions right. We can get that additional explanation and feedback to cement those concepts. And when we're ready, we can go to the next mission. All right, so I'm going to go back to the main menu here. Go back to the courses. Okay. We go into the course one more time. So just a reminder, we're inside of the course. These are the 5 modules in the course. As they work their way through, they'll encounter all these different mission types to practice all the concepts that we cover in the lessons. And finally, when they get to the last one here, Module 5, Build the App, they'll actually have a chance to bring all those skills together and build this final project. So let's take a look at that real quick. Inside of this last module, it's basically one big editor mission. What we've got here is on the left-hand side, we've got the 3 different components that we've introduced the learners to in the course so far: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So read the instructions of what they need to do. Basically, we need input fields to collect some information from the user. Then there's a calculation that we're going to use to make an estimate of the amount of calories that somebody would be using with this profile. We're going to use HTML and CSS to modify the formatting and the text and the colors and add pictures and everything to make the input look a little bit more interesting than just the default entry fields. So we want it to look something like this that's shown here down below. All right, so that's what we're trying to do. If I click on output up here, it gives me an output interface. Right now it's blank because I haven't run this code yet. If I try and run this code, I'm going to get an error. That's because this code is incomplete. Let's try again. What are we trying to do here? Well, let's go back and take a look at our picture. We've got some code to get the learner started, and it's enough that the outline of this app is kind of laid out. But there's some incomplete parts, like right here. So anywhere that it says your code here or change your code or enter your code, this is what the learner is looking for. And this is where they need to add some additional code in order to get the final solution, like what's appearing here on the screen. So how would we do that? Well, generally we code top to bottom, just like we would look at something like this. So keep that in mind as we go. So you can see here we've created an HTML file. It's linked to a style sheet and it's linked to the JavaScript. So these tabs are all linked, so that's great. And then we've got some divs that help us define these different areas, and they're each going to have their own formatting and they contain different fields. So let's see what we've got. We've got the title, that's there, so that's great. We've got another title, help maintain, and then it says we need to enter some code here. After that, we have the gender input, male, female. So it looks like we're missing the age input field here. So that's what we need to enter right here. The age input's actually similar to the weight and the height one. They're both numerical text entry fields. So we can actually just go copy and paste those. So let's find that. That's right here. So let's copy and paste. So I'm going to replace that, add your code here. And I don't want weight, I want age, and 15 to 18. So this is the text that's going to appear on the screen. The input, we need to name this variable that's going to hold this information. So let's just call it age. It is a number. We need the user to input a number. The placeholder looks like it's 25. So that just means it's giving like a sample of the type of data that needs to be entered in that field. It won't actually be saved as that value. The user has to enter something. The minimum here is 15 and the max is 80. So the user can't input numbers outside of that. So if we were to run this and our code is complete, we should start to see the app come to life like this. So the learner needs to go through, find all those areas where they need to add code. So for example, here's another one. Let's go to the JavaScript. There's some variables that are missing here, right? We named one age, so we would need to write a variable to hold the age. And so once they add all that code, they can hit the run button. If you want to see the solution, we do have that available. Just click the model answer and it will populate for you. So remember a moment ago it said add your code here. Well, now that age variable has been added, it's referencing the document. We're getting that element value. Reference name was age, and that's because we named it age right here when we entered that text entry field. Now, if I run this, you can see it pop up on the screen. So here's our little piece of software, our new little app. And you can actually interact with this as well. So let's enter some information. This person likes to exercise. And I hit the calculate button, and then you can see it provides an output, an estimate for kilocalories. And that's it. So you can experiment with this as well. If you want, you can reset it and it'll put it back to what your learner saw when you originally started, and you can always re-enter the model answer again. All right, so in this video, I showed you how to navigate the different modules inside of your course. So the 5 different modules here, all the different missions that are contained that we provide to the learners to cover the material and practice using it right away, culminating in that final build your app project at the end.